The future of talent development is here. Hi, I'm Dave Elser, and welcome to my very first AI Chore Cast. It's the next learning intervention in my whole Doing the Chores movement. What makes this Chore Cast? Well, essentially like a podcast, right? What makes it different is it's going to be completely powered by AI through me prompting AI to look at some of the best practices or some of the articles or some of the literature that I really enjoy. But I'm going to put it through the lens of Talent Development 2.0, and we're going to see what AI thinks about it. The goal behind this podcast, Chorecast, is to challenge us to think differently. And you know what? I am actually going to be the first guinea pig in this. I'm going to actually put my book, Doing the Chores, into AI. And you know what? Let's see what they think about it. So let's head on over and take a deep dive into AI and listen to what they think about doing the chores.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're doing something a little different today.
Yeah, a bit.
Usually, we're wading through these thick tech white papers or maybe a dense sociological study on workplace dynamics. But today,
Jay, we're out on the farm.
We're putting on the work boots. And I have to be honest with you. When I first picked up the source material for this deep dive, I really thought we'd made a mistake.
It definitely throws you off at first glance, doesn't it?
It really does. The book is called Doing the Chores by David Elser. And you look at the cover, there's a red barn, a green pasture, and your brain just immediately goes, memoir.
Nostalgia.
Exactly. You expect these nice nostalgic stories about growing up on a farm in Ohio, maybe some apple pie recipes. But you start reading, and you realize pretty quickly that is not what this is at all.
No, and that's the genius of it, that whole rural setting. It's a Trojan horse.
A Trojan horse. I love that.
It's a delivery mechanism for a very sophisticated frontline management training program.
And he has a name for this, right?
Yeah.
The author's philosophy.
He calls it entertainment. It's a clever little play on words.
Entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, think about a standard corporate training session. You sit a team down and lecture them on, like, Competency Model 101, what happens?
Oh, eyes glaze over instantly. People are checking their emails under the table. It feels like homework.
Right. But if you tell them a story about, baling straw or feeding steers, something they can picture, they lean in.
Because we're wired for narrative.
Exactly. And while they're being entertained by the story, the management lesson just slips in the side door. They learn without even realizing they're being taught.
So our mission today isn't to teach you how to farm. It's to persuade you that the farm is actually maybe the ultimate model for the modern workplace.
Which sounds like a huge stretch.
It does, until you look at the history.
I mean, if we zoom out, it makes perfect sense. We talk about modern management theory like it was invented in Silicon Valley 10 years ago. But farmers have been onboarding, coaching, and developing talent for 10 to 12,000 years.
10,000. That's a slightly longer track record than any MBA program I know of.
And the stakes are infinitely higher. I mean, if a tech startup has a bad quarter, they pivot. If a farmer fails to develop their talent effectively, the harvest fails.
People don't eat.
It's existential. So what you're getting in this book is a model that survived for millennia for one simple reason. It works.
Okay, so before we get into the mud, literally, let's frame this up. Elser sets up a very specific operating system for how this farm works.
Right. So the farm, that's the business, the organization.
Okay.
Then you have the managers. In the stories, these are grandma and grandpa.
And manager here isn't just a title, it's a position, right?
It's a position, a noun.
Okay.
Grandpa is the manager because he holds the authority, the stewardship. He provides the structure. But then you have the grandkids.
And the book is very specific about what they're called. They're not employees.
No, and they're not subordinates. They're contributors.
Which is such a critical shift. Contributor implies value right from the start.
It implies you're there to add something, not just take up space. And the goal of this whole operation, the farm and the book, is to develop what he calls people skills.
And I notice he specifically avoids saying leadership skills. Why is that?
It's so deliberate. In most companies, when you say leadership skills, it suggests they're only for the person in charge.
Right. That's not for me yet.
Exactly. But people skills, communication, reliability, conflict resolution, those are universal. Everyone needs them. So if you call them people skills, everyone's on the hook.
So how does the book actually structure these lessons?
It's broken down into exactly 11 chores, 11 chapters. Each one focuses on a specific competency. But here's the key thing. It's not just a storybook. It's a tool.
Because every chapter ends with those coaching questions.
Exactly. It forces you to stop and think, okay, how does stacking hay apply to my project team right now? It turns a memoir into a workbook.
Before we dive into the chores, there's one more big concept we have to define, and it's this idea of smart followership.
Yes. This is huge because we live in a world that is obsessed with leadership.
Completely. The business section of any bookstore is 99% leadership books.
But the reality is, we spend 70 to 90% of our careers following someone. Even a CEO reports to a board.
So if we're doing it 90% of the time, we should probably be good at it.
We should be smart about it. The book's definition is learning from others while enthusiastically and effectively providing support. It's an active role.
It's not just waiting for orders. And Grandpa had that catchphrase for it, right?
Oh, yeah. He'd assign a task and always end with, and be smart about it.
And be smart about it. I love that.
It's such a heavy command. It means use your brain, anticipate needs, apply your training. Don't be a robot. Be a thinking partner.
Okay, let's see what that looks like in practice. There are 11 chores, but we've pulled 3. We'll start with chapter 1, which is just called Doing the Chores.
And this one is all about demonstrating responsibility.
So set the scene for us. It is not a sunny afternoon.
Oh, no. It's 5 a.m. It's winter in Ohio. It's freezing cold. And it doesn't matter if you're tired because your customers are waiting.
The customers being the steers. And just to know, we're saying steers, never cows. The book is very precise on that.
Right. Steers. And these customers are hungry and they are vocal. Their well-being depends on you right now.
And the task itself isn't just, throw some hay around. It's surprisingly technical.
It's incredibly specific. The contributors, the grandkids, they have to climb up into the haymow, the loft.
And throw down an exact number of bales. I wrote it down. It was, 6 straw bales for the west hole, 6 for the north hole. Why so precise?
Inventory management. That's the business lesson. Grandpa calculated exactly how much straw they needed to last the winter. If you're lazy and throw down 14 bales instead of 12,
you run out in February, the operation fails.
the steers suffer. But here's the management moment that's so powerful. Grandpa gives the order, 12 bales, be smart about it, and then he leaves.
He leaves. He doesn't go up with them.
Nope. He goes down below to get the feed ready. He doesn't hover. No micromanaging.
Wow. That requires a ton of trust, especially with inventory that tight.
It demonstrates trust to build trust. He's teaching self-regulation. The contributors know the why. The steers must survive, so they have to execute the what on their own.
There's that quote from David Elser's mom that just nails this entire idea.
If it is to be, it is up to me.
If it is to be, it is up to me. It just puts the ownership right on the contributor.
It does. It removes the excuse of, well, my boss didn't check my work. And for a manager, that's the dream, right? A team that acts like owners.
Right. But things do go wrong, even on the best teams. Which brings us to chapter 6, baling straw.
Oof. Yeah. If you've ever worked in a hot, stressful environment, you will feel this chapter.
And just for pronunciation, it's baling straw, correct?
Baling, yep, and it's happening in the haymow.
So now it's summer.
Yeah.
It's hot, it's humid, and this job sounds miserable.
It's the worst. It's itchy, it's dusty, everyone's on a short fuse just from the heat. And you have 2 teams. You've got the field crew on the wagon. They at least get a breeze. And then you have the haymow crew inside the stifling hot barn stacking the bales.
The incident.
The incident. So the field crew, they're out on the tractor and they accidentally bail up a skunk.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not a subtle problem. And these skunk-scented bales get sent up the conveyor right into the haymow.
So you're trapped in a hot, confined space with that smell.
Exactly. And because they're already miserable, their first thought isn't, oh, an accident happened. It's malice. They think the field crew did it on purpose.
It's a prank. They're at war.
Total breakdown, shouting, accusations. It's a classic workplace conflict. Team A thinks Team B is sabotaging them.
So Grandpa, the manager, sees all this fighting. What does he do? Step in and mediate?
He does nothing.
Nothing. He just lets them scream at each other.
He stands back. He lets it play out because his philosophy is if the manager solves every conflict, the team never learns how to. They just become dependent.
So how do they fix it? The job still has to get done.
Well, once the yelling stops, they realize it was an accident, but the problem is still there, so they initiate a solution themselves.
Which was?
Rotation. They decide to swap crews every few loads. Share the pain.
Share the pain. That's surprisingly mature.
It is, and because they came up with it, they owned it. It built trust. They learned Conflict resolution isn't about a manager playing referee. It's about the team finding a way through the muck together.
That feels so applicable. Okay, so we've got responsibility, we've got conflict handling. Let's move to chapter 9. Gather ears of corn. This is where the book really hammers home the difference between a manager and a leader.
Yes. This is a critical distinction. We use the words interchangeably, but they're not the same. Manager is a position, grandpa. Leader is a role. Anyone can step into it.
And what's the scenario here?
It's harvest time. The big combines have gone through the fields, but machines aren't perfect. They miss corn.
So there's waste. There's corn on the ground.
Exactly. There's waste. The contributors, the kids, see this and they feel dissatisfaction. Hey, we're wasting money here.
And that's the spark of leadership, isn't it? Seeing that.
That's the spark. But remember, they're just contributors. They can't just order everyone to go pick it up. They have to influence.
So they go to grandma.
They go to grandma, the manager, and they pitch a plan. We want to take a wagon and handpick the missed corn.
And here's the moment I love. What does grandma do?
The hierarchy flips. Grandma, the manager, becomes a smart follower. She listens, she accepts their influence, she facilitates their plan.
So the managers are now supporting the contributors initiative.
Correct. The kids saw the corn on the ground, the opportunity, and they had the courage to lead the effort to fix it. That's leadership.
And the result.
They saved the corn, the farm made more money, and Grandpa, being a good manager, pays them for the corn they salvaged.
He rewards the initiative.
Guarantees they'll do it again next year.
Okay, so great stories. But how does a modern manager in a glass office actually use this?
This goes back to the Trojan horse idea. The book is designed to be a tool for what he calls chore chats.
Chore chats.
Instead of a boring staff meeting, you assign one chapter, one chore. The team reads it. And then you use the coaching questions at the end to guide a discussion.
So you're not talking about your quarterly reports directly. You're talking about the farm.
And that's why it works. It depersonalizes the feedback. It is so much safer to talk about steers and skunks than about Tim from accounting.
Give me an example. What would that sound like?
Okay, after reading chapter 1, you ask the team, who are the steers in our business? Who are the customers that absolutely must be served, no matter what?
Wow, yeah. That's a great question. It's not, why did you drop the ball? It's, are the steers fed?
Exactly. Or, for chapter 6, you ask, what's the skunk in our office right now? What's the unspoken conflict that's making things stink?
It gives you a vocabulary for the tough stuff.
It does. And for chapter 9, you ask, where is the corn on the ground? What waste or opportunity are we all walking past every single day?
It creates a shared language for the team.
A shared language and a path to action. There are study guides and planners to help teams make I will statements.
I will pick up the corn. I will share the pain.
Right. It turns the metaphor into real behavior.
You know, it just feels like we've overcomplicated things so much in the corporate world.
We have. We chase trends and buzzwords, but the fundamentals of people, skills, responsibility, conflict, initiative, those haven't changed in 10,000 years. Farmers have always known, if you don't cultivate your people, you don't get a harvest.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We spend so much energy trying to become a leader, but maybe the most valuable skill we can develop right now is actually smart followership.
Choosing who to follow and how to support them effectively, that's where the real power often is. If you're a smart follower, you're the engine making the leader successful.
And like we saw with the corn story, being a smart follower is often the path to becoming a leader. You earn the right to lead by contributing value first.
Absolutely. They prove themselves doing the chores in chapter 1.
So here's the call to action. Don't just read Doing the Chores for fun.
Buy it as a tool. If you're a manager, get it for your team. Use the 11 chores. Start a chore chat.
Find your steers. Find your skunks. Pick up that corn on the ground.
And, as Grandpa would say,
Be smart about it.
be smart about it. Start developing your team the way farmers have for 10,000 years.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you next time.
Well, that's a wrap for a deep dive. The very first AI Chore Cast. I don't know. Does anybody else do that out here, or am I the first one? I have no idea. But anyway, a couple of things from that deep dive is that first of all, if you're an experienced farmer, you probably noticed a few things that was a little bit off. They call that hallucinations, when AI kind of messes things up a little bit. Hey Mao. I always called it a hey Mao. But also, you know, some of the things that I really did like is how they shared exactly how I want Doing the Chores to be like a training program for our frontline managers that they can afford, that allows them to help develop their people without taking them out of the operation, so to speak. But yeah, so I was pretty happy with that. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you want to take a deep dive in something, some training and development topic, go ahead and let me know. But until then, make sure that you click a like and follow, share, all that good stuff. And head on over to Substack, because that's where I'm going to start curating a lot of my doing the chores on Substack. It's called DTC Academy. So I'd appreciate that. But until next time, make sure that you always remember success is achieved by doing the chores. So thanks for listening, and I'll chat with you later.